What if I told you that real money, the kind that once held value, once built nations, once meant freedom, no longer exists? That every dollar, euro, and yen you hold today is nothing more than a digital illusion, backed by nothing, controlled by everything, and designed to quietly drain your wealth while keeping you inside a system you never agreed to. The shocking truth: real money didn't vanish overnight. It was engineered out of existence, replaced by promises, manipulated by power, and disguised as progress. This is the story of how money stopped being real, and how the illusion now controls the entire world. When money meant something to understand how we got here, we have it to go back to a time when money was more than numbers on a screen. For thousands of years, civilizations used gold and silver, not because they were shiny, but because they were scarce, durable, and couldn't be faked. Ancient empires understood a simple truth: real money must hold real value. But then came a shift. In 1913, a small group of powerful bankers and politicians met in secret on Jekyll Island, off the coast of Georgia. Their goal, to create a central banking system, one that would manage America's money, but ultimately remove it from the people's control. That meeting gave birth to the Federal Reserve, and with it, the slow death of real money began. The promise of paper wealth in the early 20th century. Paper money was still backed by gold. Each dollar represented a claim to something tangible stored in the U.S. Treasury. You could exchange it for physical gold on demand. But wars are expensive. Governments realized they could print more paper than they had gold to pay for wars, programs, and power. Slowly, the promise began to break. Then came 1971, a year that changed everything. President Richard Nixon officially ended the gold standard, cutting the last tie between money and real value. From that moment, money became debt. Every new dollar was created not by mining gold, but by borrowing it into existence. The age of unlimited money. At first, it looked like progress. The world entered a new era of prosperity. Easy credit, booming stock markets, endless growth. But it was an illusion built on debt. Governments borrowed endlessly. Banks created money from nothing through fractional reserve banking, lending out 10 times more than they actually held. The system worked until it didn't. Because every borrowed dollar comes with interest, and that interest must be paid with more borrowed money. The result, a global pyramid scheme sustained only by constant growth. The digital takeover then came the next phase. The digitization of money. Cash gave way to cards. Cards gave way to apps. And today, most money doesn't even exist physically. It has data on a server controlled by banks, payment companies, and governments. Now we're moving into central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, programmable money that can be tracked, timed, or even turned off. It's sold as innovation, but behind the curtain lies control. Every transaction monitored, every purchase approved or denied. This isn't progress. It's the final step in the end of financial freedom. The price of unreal money. When money loses its value, people lose their power. Inflation isn't an accident. It's a quiet tax. Your money buys less because more of it is created from nothing. Over the last century, the US dollar has lost over 96% of its purchasing power. The rich don't suffer from this. They own the assets that rise with inflation. The middle class pays the price as savings decay and debt grows. The system rewards speculation, not productivity, and punishes those who try to live honestly within it. The cycle that won't end every time the system shakes. 2008, 2020, 2023, central banks step in with the same solution. Print more money. They call it quantitative easing. But it's just controlled collapse. Propping up a broken model by feeding it more of what's killing it. Each rescue pushes the next crisis closer. Each bailout digs the hole deeper. And now, the end game is here. History repeating itself. Rome debased its silver coins before collapsing. We debase our currencies with debt. Empires fall not when enemies invade, but when their money loses trust. And today, global confidence in fiat currencies is evaporating. Nations are stockpiling gold again. Digital assets are rising. People are quietly fleeing the system, not because they want to, but because they no longer believe in the illusion. Real money is trust, not paper. Once trust dies, currency follows. Debt is control. The more they lend, the more power they gain. Freedom demands alternatives. Gold, crypto, hard assets, anything real and outside their reach. The end of real money isn't coming. It's already here. What we're watching now is the transition to total financial surveillance, where control replaces value and permission replaces freedom. So ask yourself, when money no longer represents value, what does freedom cost? Because the moment we stop questioning the system is the moment we lose everything real.